In this section, we'll talk about the multiple inheritance, which is now possible using default methods which are being implemented in the interfaces. So in order to show this example, what we'll be doing is that we'll be creating 3 interfaces and then an implementation class which extends all those 3 interfaces. So let's create them. So the first interface is interface A. Second interface is interface B. Third interface, interface C. And we'll be creating a implementation class which will be our multiple inheritance example. And this is a class. So now inside interface A, we'll be defining a method which is default void sum of A. So method name is sum of A, and it takes integer num1 and integer num2 and prints out with the class name and method name interface A.sum A and plus sum of those numbers. Now go back to the interface B, and interface B we will define a method public void sum of B, and this will also take 2 parameters, integer num1 and integer num2. And this will also print out using print class, current class and method names to system out plus sum of those 2 numbers, num of 1 plus num of 2. Here default. Now let's go back to the interface C, and inside interface C we'll be creating the same default void sum of C and integer num1 and integer num2 and we'll be printing out the name of the class plus sum num of 1 plus num of 2. And let's go back and check sum of A, sum of B, and then sum of C. Now let's go to the multiple inheritance example class, and inside this class I'll be calling first of all I'll be creating a public static void main method, and inside the public static void main method I'll be creating a instance of this class because I'll be calling those interfaces. Multiple inheritance is equal to new and multiple inheritance, and this multiple inheritance example will extend or implements interface A, interface B, and interface C. So this multiple inheritance was never possible with Java using a method which is already defined in the classes. So using the default methods, now multiple inheritance is possible because now I can directly call those methods which are being implemented in the interfaces, like here. So multiple inheritance example dot sum of A and 4 and 8, and multiple inheritance example dot sum of B and 2 and 4, and multiple inheritance example dot sum of C and 1 and 2. So before that, in Java, before Java 8, we were never able to do that. Now with Java 8, we have the possibility of doing it by using the default methods. Now let's run this example. So you can see that interface A, sum A and 12, interface B, sum B is 6, interface C, sum C is equal to 3. Now let's make it more complex, and let's have one of the interface implements another interface, and let's see which method is called when we call those interfaces. So go back and then interface A. First of all, let me put some spacer over here. Okay. Now let's have interface B implements or extends interface A. And inside this, I'll be creating another method which is sum of A. Because interface A, well, let's just copy directly from here. But here I will change the name to interface B. So now when I call sum of A, let's see which operation is called. So I'm here, I didn't change the program, but in the interface B extends interface A, and interface B has already this method which was already part of the interface A. Now let's run this program and see which one gets executed. So you can see here, it called the interface B.sum A and interface B.sum B and interface C.sum C. So in this case, because interface B was implementing or extending interface A, so it is basically calling the child method which is existing inside the interface B. So here it will call the child implementation. It resolves to child. Now let's create another method inside our implementation class, and this class will be sum of A. This method will be sum of A and integer num1 and num2. And this will return void. And inside this will be printing out South M current class name and plus num1 plus num2. And let's define this as public. Now let's run this example. So now you can see that it called the sum of A from the implemented classes, and then sum B from the interface B, and sum of C from the interface C. So it means that it resolves using the implemented class first, then the sub interface that extends the interface. So this was an example of multiple inheritance in Java using interfaces and default methods. And before, it was not possible before Java 8, because before Java 8 you cannot create default or static methods inside the interfaces.